Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Grind. Here's your host, JB.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. My scene is a little bit different again tonight. In another new location. Hopefully things are running as well, I guess a little bit better than they did last week. Things were out of sorts the last time we had JMB on. Out of practice for sure. Definitely not a production that we grind out daily like the wrestling team does there in the wrestling room. But good to be back. As football season is winding down, I can tell you I am stoked for the competition that's going to be in Boone in that wrestling room. And also pretty excited for some results already with the wrestling team. So we're going to get JMB on here in a minute, talk a little bit about wrestling. In the meantime, before we bring him on, go ahead and share, retweet, invite, tag, whatever it may be, to get people that may want to watch or be a part of it. That would be great. Also over on YouTube, we should be up over there as well. Go ahead and subscribe to that. And we're on Rockfin tonight. So go check us out on those platforms. Always good to see people share it, follow, subscribe, retweet, whatever it may be on those other platforms. Should have a good episode. Talk about some past performance and the upcoming schedule. Some of the first duels in the schedule, and some exciting news out of Boone. I will tell you, this has been as John Mark will tell you in just a minute. This has been a conversation that I've been a part of with the coach for a few months at least, and to see it to finally come together is pretty exciting. And I think, I know it's going to make a big impact on wrestling in Boone and the High Country. Much bigger than what I think Coach and I even realize at this point, but definitely exciting. Let's go check in with Coach Bentley and the Bentley household. That's kind of it's getting it's growing on us, Coach. That's the same background that you had last week, so that's a good thing. How's things going in the Bentley household?
Oh, things are going okay, Jeremy. A little bit crazy. Finally got the kids put to bed tonight, and they were a little bit wild. They spent the night at grandparents' house all weekend, so trying to get them calmed back down and a little bit of discipline has kind of been a challenge tonight. But everything's well, and glad to be back on with another episode of The Grind.
Yeah, Coach, I apologize. A little bit of discipline could do me in order tonight. We're a little bit later than we anticipated starting, but we're finally here. Had a call that ran over a little bit long. Speaking of Bentleys, Coach, you sent me I seen a message a week or so ago. The little Bentley there is on the mat and performing. Tell us a little bit about the younger Bentley there of the household and what his wrestling career has started out here.
Well, Luke, had his first tournament 2 weekends ago. Actually, when our team was traveling to Philadelphia, my wife took him to his first wrestling tournament up in Sparta, and he went up and wrestled in that. And he actually had a good day. I think he ended up finishing first in his weight class, and so obviously he was real proud of that in his first tournament. And I didn't get to see it. I wasn't there, but I did see some videos that were sent to me. A little bit shaky from the phone, but I did get to watch some of his first matches, and so he's just kind of getting his feet wet in it, a little bit of taste. He's been practicing, pretty consistently for this past year with the youth programs locally, and I think he got his taste of competition a little bit last week, and so he's excited and. Looking forward to, continuing to train and getting another opportunity to wrestle a tournament. Hopefully in Boone, we're going to have a youth tournament on December the 11th. And, he's looking forward to wrestling in that. So, I've got one of my own wrestling now. So it's a little bit different feeling than coaching someone else's kids. So now I'll get to feel what it feels like to be a parent watching from the side. So.
Yeah, coach, that's got to be that's one of those proud dad moments, right? Like your son, what you spent a lifetime doing. Now your son, is kind of following in your footsteps, at least as a youth, in your wrestling career and in his beginning of his wrestling career. That's got to be pretty exciting for you. But in the same sense, I could probably imagine what's going through your mind right now. If he took first there, you're probably looking to get him in some tournaments where he's not going to do so well pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, he's very green in the sport. I don't think I'm going to have to take him very far away from home to make sure he gets a loss. Like, he's just a beginner, and
Yeah,
he's been around the sport, but I've purposely, been very patient as far as kind of getting him in it really uh, heavy at this point. I mean, he's still very young. He's much younger than I started wrestling, and the biggest thing I think, in my opinion, is that he's around the sport, and that he loves it, and he has an understanding and appreciation for it. And as he grows older, and the more he gets into it, and the more serious he wants to take it, then we'll obviously do that. But I want it to be his choice. I don't really want to start shoving it down his throat as an 8-year-old. Nobody really remembers who's an 8-year-old national champion. My hope is that he falls in love with the sport and has a passion for it, and he's excited about it when he's 18 and all the way through
yeah,
his college years, hopefully. So we'll see. But yeah, he's very green. I mean, he's been around the sport a little bit, but I would not say he's a youth phenom or anything like that. I'm sure that he'll have some whippings coming to him here pretty soon. So.
yeah. I'm sure that you'll make sure of that. Some of the conversations that you and I have had, I'm sure you're going to make sure of that. And even if he was a phenom, you wouldn't let him know it anyways, or you wouldn't let anybody else that's watching know it anyways. So, yeah,
No.
that's great. Obviously, as a youth wrestler, and we'll get into this a little bit later when we talk about some things that you're doing there in Boone. What better place to be a youth than a collegiate wrestling room with Division I wrestlers and a coaching staff? I mean, Boone is that community for a lot of people. I mean, look at what Avery County has done with some of the guidance that's come out of Boone, and with what you guys have done, and obviously your high school that you graduated from, and all of that thing. So, being a youth in Boone and in the wrestling community, and up and coming wrestlers have a huge opportunity, but there's been a void there, and we'll talk a little bit about that here a little bit later in the show. But got to be exciting to see your boy, at least interested enough to take those initial steps. Obviously, the thing with a parent is always a very, at least for me, especially with our daughter and the horse thing, is it's very a tough line to walk, right? Like, where do you push too much and not enough? And it's got to be very difficult with the position that you're in, and obviously your career and that sort of thing. So when you sent me that, I couldn't love that picture enough, because I knew that definitely a proud dad moment there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited to see him wrestle in person for the first time. So.
I bet that may be a while to come, though, right? Because you guys are getting hot and heavy into your schedule as well. So, let's talk about some App State wrestling, coach, and best of luck to Luke. I will tell you, when I see the young man, he's always the most respectful young man of his age, and he looks like a wrestler already. So. He always looks like he's about ready to rip somebody's legs out from underneath him when I see him. So best of luck to Luke and the Bentleys. Coach, App State, watched a little bit of the Keystone. Man, Coach, I will tell you, when I seen that final schedule, it was tough to find a match that didn't have an App State wrestler in it.
Yeah, Jeremy, we had a really good tournament up there. I think we ended up with, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 finalists, which was a record in all the years I've been there. Having 6 of the 10 weight classes, having someone in the finals, was a a very, I guess, encouraging feat for us in this early season. We had a lot of guys step up and wrestle really well, and I think the biggest stat I was proud of is, we took 18 wrestlers there, and 16 of them placed in their weight class. And of our 10 starters, we had all 10 starters placed, fifth or better. So I think that showed some balance in our lineup, which I was encouraged to see. We had some backups and young guys that were in there battling and trying to establish themselves as a potential starter for our program. And then we had two champs. I was proud of that. Caleb Smith and Jonathan Milner both, had good days and, had some really good performances as well. But, very balanced effort for our guys. Probably the best showing at the Keystone Classic that I can ever remember in my time here at Appalachian State. And I think we scored 154 points. And I tried to did some brief looking back in the history of the tournament, even before my time at ASU. And I think that's the most points ever scored by an Appalachian State team. And we've been going there long before my time. So I'm guessing 20 plus years we've been going to that tournament every year. So, I was proud of that. I think it showed, that this team's continuing to grow and to get better. And you saw some new names and some new faces placing in that tournament. And, there's still some very healthy competition to establish a starter at a couple of weights. So, we're excited about kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, the level of competition that was up there, just listening to it, I obviously didn't recognize most of the names from the other schools that participated, but the number of national qualifiers that were on the mats up there was astounding. I mean, that was that tournament had a lot of stiff competition in it. Obviously, a lot of schools up there with some big names in it. A couple of the schools, I think, wrestle out of the same RTC right there in the area in Philadelphia. So had a lot of familiarity with each other, had a lot of stiff competition in their rooms that they were able to train with and grow up with in college wrestling. So it was pretty interesting to listen to some of that history behind it. But to see App State Wrestling go up there and put that many finalists to the final matches was amazing, especially if you listened to the early matches and heard a lot of the accolades that some of the wrestlers were getting. To see those App State wrestlers make it that far was pretty cool. The guys that were covering the matches never acknowledged it. I don't think they ever said anything about App State being in so many finals. But it was pretty clear they couldn't avoid it because every final match that they commentated on, just about had an App State wrestler involved with it. Coach, if I look at the website correctly, you guys walked away with two finalists, champions out of that, which I think going up there probably wasn't a surprise to anybody.
No, I mean, I knew we had a lot of guys that had the potential to do well at that tournament. It's been a long time since we've had two champions and that many finalists, though. So I think, actually, going up there and having some guys wrestle well and come away as champions was obviously a great thing. But, we had some guys that weren't champions that really had great days as well. I mean, you look at Barrett Blakely, our 184 pounder, he had a win over returning national qualifier, entered the tournament not unseeded and ended up finishing third in the tournament, and really gave the champion his closest match in the semis from Ryder. So, it was a very big step for Barrett Blakely. I thought he showed tons of improvement. And then we had a redshirt freshman, Tommy Askey. He actually beat the 20th ranked kid in the country first round from Drexel. And so that was a big win for him, as a young wrestler in our program. I think kind of showing the strength that we have in some of our young guys, and just a lot of great matches. We had a lot of guys that really stepped up, and then we had finalists at 97 and heavyweight. So those weights continue to trend in a good trajectory for our program, and that's one area that we really wanted to kind of stress this year is to really be stronger in those upper weights. And those guys are stepping up and obviously wrestling at a much higher level than in the previous year.
Yeah, those are two weight classes that years previous to last year, App State has typically performed very well in.
Mm-hmm.
Through the season, through the SoCon tournament, through the championships, that sort of thing. Last year, obviously, we've talked about it. Those heavier weight classes were kind of the struggle of the team, and really not something that you guys have experienced any time recently. So to see those two guys, the 97 and the heavyweight, perform to that level has to be pretty exciting for you as a coach. Obviously, we've got Jonathan Milner taking the finalists or the championship in the 149 and Caleb Smith at the 125. Caleb's match, wow. That kid is, I'm telling you, if people aren't paying attention to him, I bet you there's more people that know his name after that Keystone Classic performance that he had up there. Another great wrestler, Burchell, obviously coming out with a heavyweight. I think it was a sudden death in that last match to get into the final match, but looking good. A lot of great wrestlers. Mason, obviously, at the 197. All those guys were runner-up. Cody Russell, 133 finalist. Will Formato, 165 runner-up. Or Cody Russell was a runner-up. Will Formato, 165 runner-up. And Heath Gagne at 141 was a runner-up as well. And Barrett Blakely from the website at 184 took third place. So, man, what a great showing. I mean, just about right there is the starters and at least the top three. Maybe missing one or two, but a great performance across the board there, Coach. It's got to be exciting to look at the schedule and come away with that performance.
Yeah, it was a great. We had 2 good weeks of competition, Jeremy, with our tournament, the Mountaineer Invitational. We got battle tested in that tournament, and then going up to the Keystone, getting to see a lot of schools from the Northeast, just seeing some different faces that we don't see throughout the year, and getting tested up there as well. I think we got 2 really good back-to-back weeks of competition, and then the good thing is we've actually had the last week and we'll continue this week into some good training. We've had a couple good training cycles these last 2 weeks without any competitions. We've really been able to focus on our weaknesses that we've kind of exposed in those first 2 competitions, improve on those, and really kind of hammer on some of the philosophies and points of emphasis that we really want to get through to our guys, that we really want to be focusing on this year, and really make a point to make those things a priority in practice and in our training the last couple of weeks. And so excited. We've got about, we're just outside of, I would say, like 11, 12 days until we wrestle NC State. And so, we're really excited for that challenge that will take place on the 12th of December. And, really looking forward to these guys, finishing up strong in the classroom this semester and trying to do well on their exams. And, excited for this home schedule coming up in December. We've got, 2 really good ranked opponents back in the same week. We've got NC State on December 12th. I think they're ranked top 5 in the country right now. And then North Carolina, I think, is ranked top 15 in the country. And we'll have them 5 days later on the 17th of December on that Friday. So.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be man, the first 2 matches. I tell this to everybody, and I'm going to say it again tonight. $45 season tickets. December 12th in Boone. It's a Sunday at 3 p.m. Right now, the latest rankings, I guess it's the latest was out on the 23rd, so there'll be more coming out this week probably. NC State is number 6 in the country. And just, Coach, I hope, and a big reason why we started this here, or I started this here at The Grind, is hopefully there are people that aren't wrestling fans that listen because it's an App State product. NC State, I believe, was in the top 5 last year when we went to Raleigh and wrestled them with the team that we had last year. If I'm not mistaken, Coach, you guys took 4 or 5 of the matches, the individual matches, out of that duel.
Yeah, we took 4 of them. That's right.
We didn't lose anybody, right? We've got everybody that plus them that has started that duel. If you're not in varsity gym on the 12th to see this, I I don't know how you can't be. This is going to be varsity gym will be where you want to be on the 12th to see what's going to happen in Boone. This is not, I will tell you right now, people that are App State fans, I know you keep up with the football, and I know you hear the coaches talk about they don't go anywhere to be an expected loss. I can tell you right now, that's the mentality of the team that's going to walk into varsity gym. These guys will be able to toe the line with any of the wrestlers that NC State puts up on that mat. And really, to be honest with you, Coach, I'm looking forward to watching you guys win this one in Boone. This is a very winnable duel against a top 6 team right now, probably top 5 when this comes out tomorrow. There in varsity gym.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to be a great challenge for us. I mean, we don't step into any match expecting to lose, so we're definitely we wouldn't put them on the schedule if we didn't expect to compete against them and try to win. The biggest thing for us is we're just going to have to be consistent. We're going to have to show up at all 10 weights. And, last year I think we were right there in the duel with them, and it kind of got slipped away from us late. We gave up a couple of pins in the upper weight classes, and that ultimately kind of really widened the margin of victory for them. And, this year we're going to have to, be ready to go at 10 weights and be ready to fight from start to finish. And if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance to be in this match. And, I'm sure NC State's licking their chops thinking that they're going to, come in here and show us otherwise. So it should be a great challenge for us and a great product for the fans. And, we're looking forward to wrestling in front of a packed varsity gym again. We haven't been able to do that again or do that in the last 2 years. So we're excited for that again. And, if you're not a season ticket holder yet, I would encourage you to go ahead and get your season tickets and circle those 2 dates on your calendar, December the 12th and the 17th, and make plans to be in varsity gym to cheer on the black and gold.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing's for sure. Those 2 duels will be sold out. If you plan to be there, definitely get your season tickets. They're for $45. I will tell you right now, folks, there are NC State and UNC fans that have bought season tickets so they can make sure they can get into that. If you want to be there, definitely pick up your season tickets. I don't know where else you'd want to be honest with you. What you're going to witness and be a part of in varsity gym when NC State and UNC come to town is unrivaled. I will tell you that right now. You can go to whatever football game you want to go to at Kid Brewer. You can go to, and I'm a season ticket holder at Kid Brewer. I'm one of the first in the parking lots. I love what happens in Kid Brewer. Nothing against what happens in Kid Brewer because it's a great product that's put on the field there. You can go to the home center and see the student section is amazing that it's been the past couple of home games. You will not experience what you will experience in the 12th and the 17th in varsity gym at either one of those locations. I've said this to everybody that will listen. It's the only sport where there's an individual from each university competing against each other. It's not anything else like it that you're going to experience. It's not a football team. It's not a basketball team. It's 2 young men from each side of the mat that are going to compete in a sold out varsity gym and have at it. And obviously the team competition would decide the school that wins it. But there's 10 individuals going to step up and compete to get to that point. You won't experience that anywhere else in Boone. NC State, number 6, on the 12th. Coach, we've got them coming to town. And then right after that following Friday, the 17th, 7 p.m., Friday night entertainment in Boone in varsity gym at UNC. I will tell you right now, Coach, if there is an NC school on the calendar that we better win, that's the one that I'm circled, NC State. I'm very hopeful and confident you guys can do it. But kind of being your alma mater, that's probably, you're not going to say it, but that's got to be a pretty special night for you guys as well. Having those guys in varsity gym and to be a part of that. Back to back, same week, that is spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it has some sentimental value for me wrestling them at home, and but I don't want to put too much emphasis on either one of those opponents, Jeremy. And we want to win every match we wrestle, and that's what I preach to my guys each and every day. We don't treat any match as bigger or smaller than another, and that's the way I'm going to approach this as a coach. We're not circling these dates and saying, guys, we've got to kind of really focus on these things to wrestle these two teams, because that doesn't set your team up for consistent performances. We tell our guys the same thing every day. You prepare the same, you compete the same, and if you do that, you give yourself chances to win big matches. And for me, more than anything else, it's getting two really high quality opponents that our fans care to see. I mean, we're not scheduling teams that we can just beat the fool out of. That nobody has a desire to watch us wrestle. I mean, we're scheduling teams that actually are going to be a challenge, and that are going to bring some high level wrestling here. And, that's what the fans want to see. And honestly, quite frankly, that's what this team needs to battle against. This team doesn't need, to schedule an easy schedule to beat up on a bunch of teams. We need to be tested each and every week. And, that was my goal in building this schedule. And so far it's been that way, and I don't expect any different for these upcoming dual meets that we've got coming in varsity gym. So we're just excited for the challenge, excited for the opportunity for our guys to showcase all the work that they put in, and hopeful that we're going to wrestle in front of a very rowdy home crowd on those two nights. So make it out to varsity gym. We really appreciate your support.
I knew that was going to be your coach's answer. I could have probably answered that. I could have probably just flipped the camera around and said the same, said what you were going to say. But Coach, I can be a fan, and I will tell you right now, if there's a team that I've been a part of at App State Wrestling that could win out, like literally all 10 individual matches, I think you've got the team there. Obviously, coming off last season, taking 7 qualifiers to the national tournament. All of those guys back, ready to be a part of this again. Got to be an exciting time. I know it's. I know you give the coaches answers, but got to be an exciting time for you, the staff, coming up from the teams that you've been a part of here at App State, and obviously seeing the growth of these individuals. I mean, these student athletes. They're a student athlete just like the guys in the basketball court or the football field. Giving their all for Appalachian State, and some of them giving their all beyond what most typically would because of the COVID years that some of these guys are getting back. So, got to be some exciting times. I will tell you, I've ran into a handful of these young men traveling with the football teams, like we talked about. Um, it's hard not to be proud of what these guys have accomplished, and to see them all come back and want to be a part of it again is pretty exciting for a fan, and especially somebody that's that supports the program like I do. Got to be exciting times for you, Coach. Looking forward to catching up again, talking about some App State wrestling, hopefully a little bit closer to NC State, to kind of shift the gears a little bit, right, from what it is that you do here as the head coach of Appalachian State Wrestling. Let's talk a little bit about the organization that you recently started here to help kind of the youth and the amateur wrestlers of the high country.
Yeah, Jeremy. So obviously, it's been a work in progress over the last, I would say probably 4 or 5 months that we've been working on it very steady. But we've always had an RTC, or a regional training center. We've had the title and all that kind of stuff, but recently, I really kind of, I kind of got burdened to really try to take our RTC to the next level. I mean, if you look around the country, the teams that are having the most success, they have an RTC that is, a nonprofit organization that's raising money and funding coaches and funding the training of athletes, and then not to mention really growing freestyle wrestling at the youth level in the community, and that's something that I really wanted to do. And I got you and several other of our board members involved, and we got the RTC established now. The nonprofit is officially, I guess, sanctioned with the IRS now, and we're currently raising money for the Boone RTC, and it's already helping with some training situations for our guys, and also with some coaching. And those are all things that I think will only enhance the App State wrestling program, and even further than that, I think just grow wrestling in this surrounding region. I think it's a 250-mile radius of Boone, North Carolina. Hopefully, this regional training center is going to be an opportunity for any wrestler that's within that 250-mile radius to train at a high level in the Olympic styles of wrestling, and get some quality coaching, and it's only going to help benefit the App State wrestling program, and obviously that's my biggest I guess concern is the App State wrestling program, but it also is going to benefit the surrounding region and area, and I'm really excited about what's going on, and hopefully you guys are going to see a lot more announcements and breaking news coming from that establishment of the Boone RTC.
Yeah, Coach, I will tell you, I would challenge you to say that you and I have probably had conversations around this going on a couple of years now. I know that the actual, pen to paper has been about 4 months, but I know for you personally, this has been something that you've worked on for a while. Whether you kind of realize it or not, I know we've had conversations a few years ago about this. I'm absolutely amazed at what you do with what resources you have now. We've talked about this, and I beat this drum probably every episode, and people are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. But there's probably not a program in the country that dollar for dollar achieves what App State Wrestling does. I would challenge anybody, put the budgets on the table. Let's see what they do to what you do with that. My passion and my hope is to be able to flip that around to say, look at App State Wrestling top 10 in the country year after year, because they finally have the resources that they deserve to do what it is that I know and that they could do with the resources. So to see an establishment and an organization where money can help this coaching issue, because it's an issue, right? That the camps didn't get to go on last year, so there's a little bit of a challenge right now with some lower weight classes. But to be able to see you bring in some training partners for those guys right now through this organization and making an impact, I mean, literally 4 months, if that. I don't think the ink's been dry yet, 2 months. But to see that impact happen right away is pretty amazing. And obviously, very early, very new in the conversation, very new in the meetings that go on and the Zoom calls and that sort of thing. But to see where this could go and what this could do for App State Wrestling, number one, and the youth wrestling in the area, number two, is pretty exciting. I think you and I have talked about this recently. I recently heard that the middle school in Watauga County, the middle school ages in Watauga County, have recently started a wrestling program. I don't know how far off the ground they are. They sounded very new. Could definitely, I think, benefit from an organization like this to provide some guidance and training, and not just for the wrestlers, but obviously for whoever coaches those youth as well. So very exciting, Coach. I'll be honest with you. I'm proud of what you're doing. Proud that you asked me to be a part of that and to be a part of that organization. But excited to see where it goes. That's definitely something for you guys as a team at App State, and the youth of the area, I think, is going to benefit from this from generations on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal is to, we're just getting started with this Boone RTC. I mean, I think that obviously you and I have been talking about this vision for a couple of years. I mean, the goal is to grow it into something, much bigger than what it is currently. I mean, my goal is to, within the next, year or 2 years to have a full-time RTC coach that just focuses on the RTC. And, that's something that we've got in the works. And, not to mention it's just going to benefit our entire wrestling program, the community, the 250-mile region, which is surrounding Boone. And so a lot of great things, a lot of thank yous. We had a lot of very important people that were involved in helping make this happen. So I want to thank those guys. And, if they're listening, they know who they are. I really do appreciate them from the bottom of my heart, kind of helping my vision get off the ground. But I think it's still growing. I think we're excited to see what this thing can grow to and what it can become. And, just very appreciative of all the donors that have donated so far. And, if you're out there listening and you want to make a difference in a wrestling program and the sport of wrestling in a community, consider donating to the Boone RTC. We definitely can use more donors and funding and, to, kind of achieve that ultimate vision that we want to have, which will be, a full-time RTC coach and, full-time athletes training out of the RTC.
Yeah. I'm the sky's the limit, Coach. I have no doubt that the people that are involved in the ROTC right now, and the people that we've talked to already, I think the RTC will be much bigger than what you or I or anybody in those calls have even talked about right now. I think there's a lot of energy behind it. I think there's a lot of good people involved. There's obviously tremendous people that's already donated already to make some of the things possible that you've done with it, and to bring in some of the training staff that's already been a part of that. So looking forward to seeing where that goes. Looking forward to talking about that organization much more going forward, and to help kind of spread the word. If you're interested in being a part of it, you know how to find JMB. I think his email address is there on their App State Wrestling website. If you go to the coaches staff, you can find his profile. I believe he's got the email address there. Coach, if your email address isn't there, how can people find you?
I mean, you can obviously anyone that follows Twitter and Instagram. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Bentley, and I think it's at JM Bentley 4. I think is the my Instagram. I'm not 100% sure what my Instagram handle is, but I'm on social media. Obviously, you can message me there. But you can definitely go to the athletics website at appstatesports.com. If you go to the coaches or go to the wrestling site, and then you can click on coaches, and you can get to my email from that. And be happy to share more information with you about this Boone RTC and kind of the vision for the future.
Yep, it has your email address there and it has your office phone there as well, Coach. So go check that out. If you're interested in being a part of the RTC, whether it's to provide donations or just to stay in the loop on what the opportunities are for the youth in the area, stay tuned. I'm sure there'll be a lot more information to come as we are able to put things together for that program, and to be a part of it. Don't forget season tickets. Obviously, go get the season tickets for the upcoming schedule and join Yosef. I will tell you that that's as big as anything that you can do, is to help raise those scholarship dollars. If you're a fan of the wrestling program, get the season tickets and join Yosef. Coach, is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to discuss tonight?
No, we've covered a lot tonight, Jeremy. Excited to kind of get the Boone RTC announcement out there, and so people know that that's something that's happening, and it's getting off the ground, and we're excited to see that take off. And I do think it's going to provide tremendous benefit to our wrestling program here at Appalachian State, and we've got a great schedule ahead. I'm looking forward to seeing all of our fans in Varsity Gym on December the 12th, and we're excited about the year to come.
I couldn't say it any better, Coach. Varsity Gym's going to be wild. Coach, appreciate you joining us tonight. Looking forward to catching up maybe a couple of days before NC State comes to town, if not for sure afterwards. So appreciate your time again tonight, Coach.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, another great episode with Coach. Great to catch up with him here about the Boone RTC. Folks, if you're not involved in App State Wrestling and you're a regular consumer of what we do here, do what you can do to get involved with those guys. I will tell you, it's a phenomenal program. The young men are, as a dad, the young men are the guys that you want to come pick up your daughter to go on a date. Very respectful. Every time I see them, present themselves well. And I will tell you, I see them in a lot of weird places. I-85, south of Charlotte. I think I ran into a half dozen of them going to the football game one day. Had no idea anybody else was going to be there from App State. Probably wouldn't have been able to pick them out if you weren't a fan of the wrestling program. But always present themselves and operate and carry themselves in the most respectful manner. Great young men. These kids, if you haven't been in the wrestling room to see them training, they are giving their all for App State, just like any of our other student athletes. So definitely, if you're willing to be a part of that, join Yosef, number one. If you're interested in donating locally to be a part of what the Boone RTC does, contact Coach JohnMark. That's 2. And 3, be at Varsity Gym. Go to Varsity Gym, get the season tickets. Go check out what goes on there. You will not want to miss those 2 home opening duels with NC State and UNC coming to Boone. It will be great entertainment, I can promise you that. As always, appreciate you tuning in. Share us, like us, subscribe to us. Go Apps.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.